Yo, well, if monkey see the monkey do, then call me a boo. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage today, and only today, we are here with, yes, another report of Sega's financials, right? We usually do these videos every 3 to 4 months when Sega reports on their financials, and now it is no exception. This is going to be our financial report from basically the fiscal year, basically like all year on. So basically what they do with their sales reports is that they usually do them every 3 months, but when it goes up to March 31st is when they give you like the year-round investors thing of like how did the series do throughout the year. So we're going to go over all the stats, the big milestones of Sonic. We'll go over the others, just to see how Sega is doing overall, but of course we'll focus on our blue boy. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this and you want to support your boy, well, make sure of course to subscribe. We are nearing 70k. Please hit us that milestone as we approach Switch 2, Sonic Crossroads, a lot of good stuff coming up. So let's begin. So obviously, in the beginning of it, it's all like a bunch of like their more nerdy company wide sets, because Sega is obviously much more than a game company, but then they have their entertainment content business. So this is where we get into the stuff that we can look at. So let's start with the first thing they talk about here. So medium-term plan management focus, further expansion of the major pillars. So if you guys remember, a big thing we've been talking about is their whole pillar initiative, where they have like multiple pillars. YAKUZA is a pillar, Sonic is a pillar, Atlus is a pillar, basically, Sega team, all those are their major pillars, right? And they want transmedia, global game service. I mean, Rovio is part of Sega. People forget how huge that is an entire mobile market worked on by Rovio to expand the company, right? So investments to strengthen development, so pillars, legacy IP is medium to long-term initiatives. The super game, which again, I still don't know what this means. They are building this super game. We've been wondering for so long what this is, and I have no idea. I know a lot of people in the comments have speculated that is just the term to talk about their future games, or a big game as a service that they're working on. I think Sega is lacking that. I think every company wants at least one major multiplayer game to be in their suite of content, and so I feel like when it comes to the super game, that's something they might have to work on. Obviously they're investing in Sonic Rumble, which we'll talk about, but yeah, I think still don't know what that is. And of course, animation IPs, I do know that Sega apparently published it's either the Detective Conan movie or the Lupin movie, so that's what, and obviously like Sonic movie is a big pillar. They had the YAKUZA show that wasn't a success, and then you have regrowth of the European business, Football Manager and Total War. So shout out to the Europeans out there. All right, and here we go. First but not least, further expansion of major pillars. First of all, counting Sonic the Hedgehog over here, let's talk about our boy. So steadily expansion of IP values through transmedia development. Strong sales for Sonic Shadow Generations, which is great. We don't know the exact sales figures. I think it was about like 2 to 3 million when it came out. Let me double check. Yeah, the last news report that it had sold over 2 million copies. So they're saying strong sales of Sonic Shadow Gens, probably nearing 3 million at this point. I'm not gonna lie, because that was like by December, so I feel like at this point it's probably way higher, which is pretty good. Strong repeat sales, so they're seeing more people come back and buy the games. I'm guessing games like Sonic Frontiers are still selling. Guessing people are still probably buying Mania, Superstars, and Sonic Shadow Gens, which are very good. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movies surpassed 490 million worldwide, which we've talked about here is an insane milestone. I mean, I really do, on a selfish note, wish it hit that big 500 million just to say it made half a billion, but it basically did, and again, it had some big competition. I mean, sadly, as much as I don't like Mufasa, that movie made damn near $1 billion.
What did you say about my brother?
So it did take box office share, but hey, for a movie that came out in December and a Sonic movie that's in its third entry, all about Sonic Adventure 2, I'm super happy about that. We love to see it. So the next one, distribution of the live-action original drama series Knuckles and extension of views past the movies. So yeah, we talked about this a while ago, that like the Knuckles series did like super well view-wise on Paramount Plus, and still no announcement of a season 2, still no announcement of what they're potentially doing next for plans, which that is weird, because I remember in the middle of Sonic Movie 2's like announcements, they had already announced Sonic Movie 3 at that point, and Sonic 3 and the Knuckles show. So I am a little weirded out that we haven't gotten some news. Now we technically they've announced Sonic 4, and we do have the logo of that actually. So, but I wonder what they're going to be doing with the future of the shows and all that still. Significant increase in licensing revenue, so 140% growth. So that's really good. That's just products that are like Sonic licensed that are just selling. So whether it's toys or merch and all that, which is really good. Selected as a 3-star IP for Walmart Entertaining Council program. I wonder what that means. I'm guessing this is like toys that are sold at Walmart that are doing well, because like, I mean, yeah, on like a small note, whenever I walk by a Walmart, I still see a lot of Sonic toys there, so seems like they're doing something well. And in their future plans, it says from fiscal year 2026 and onward, expanding further growth with the launch of free-to-play titles for global market and new titles for full games. So service launch of Sonic Rumble and release of Sonic Racing Crossroads, further license increase in licensing revenue. So no real tease at what they're doing next, at least in terms of franchise stuff. I know there's like some more Sonic stats that they show in the presentation that we're gonna get to. But yeah, so far, I mean, Rumble is gonna be technically their free-to-play, and their new full game is Racing Crossroads, which, you know, it's pretty good. I'm excited for those games, but you know, I do want to know what's next on the bone. You know what I'm saying? What am I gonna chew on next? Obviously, you know, when it comes to Sonic, there's definitely a bit of a greed factor. We've been eating a lot, pretty much something every year. But like I said, I mean, Shadow Gens and Sonic X Shadow Gens is still technically a remaster with new content. And so if you were someone that just bought Sonic Frontiers in 2022 and you were like, well, I've played Sonic Generations before, and for somebody casual, they're like, it's been a few years since the last mainline 3D Sonic game. So hopefully maybe a remake will come up. I feel like a remake is next, and then we're going to get the next mainline Sonic. I feel like that's going to be in the cards. Nice to know that YAKUZA is still doing well, right? Steady sales of Like a Dragon, release of the Amazon original, which didn't do great, so I don't know why they're flexing it, but they probably have to. Plans to expand the IP with new hardware like Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. It's interesting that they don't mention that Sonic Shadow Gens is getting that, you know, extra version on such, but I guess this is technically a new release. It's a Director's Cut. And of course, major new titles from Yoko Project Century, which they announced. I think it was it the Game Awards? Yeah, where they like, there was like 5 things by RGG, which is crazy, and they're still going. Atlus, of course, still doing super well. You know, sales strong for Metaphor, which sold incredibly well. Winning at the Game Awards, best, you know, narrative, strong repeat sales of Persona 5 Royal, which is still doing good, and Unicorn Overlord. It's cool that they're mentioning Unicorn Overlord as like a game that's still steadily selling. If you guys remember, that was like and I think it's an RTS or a 2D game. Either way, it looks gorgeous. I mean, if you look at the footage here, like it's an amazing looking game that I want to check out at some point. But Atlus just, I mean, they're killing it, bro. Like, Atlus on all cylinders. You got Persona, you got your Metaphors, you got your Unicorn Overlords, you got SMT. Like, they're selling, man. And of course, later this year, they're releasing the Raito remaster. Rovio, of course, with their Angry Birds stuff. Nothing too interesting for us, at least, to talk about here. You know, more Angry Birds games, products, the Angry Birds 3 movie. I forgot that actually they're heavily involved in Sonic Rumble. So yeah, participating in the global marketing for Sonic Rumble. So, you know, pretty important in that sense. That's why the game is so, you know, has all the menus it does and all that. You can tell who's working on it. There's more stuff that we're not really into here. You know, you got your Total Wars and your Football Managers. You know, shout out to y'all for that. And of course, Sega's initiative for their IP revivals, right? The whole thing of, you know, the revival of legacy IP is underway. So announced timeline so far. So we have Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, new Virtua Fighter project. Virtua Fighter actually had like a direct the other day where they showed Virtua Fighter 5 is getting a re-release with crossplay. It's going to be on Switch 2 and all the major consoles. So it's good to see Virtua Fighter is coming back into the light, but it's just cool to see Sega investing in so many IPs from their legacy and going forward. I wonder when we're going to get to see these, because it has been now since 2023's Game Awards that we got that announcement of the Sega games like the Jet Sets and all that. Now Shinobi's coming out in August, and that game looks incredible. Like, look at this gameplay for Shinobi, bro. It looks so beautiful. So that's the one they're focusing on. I'm guessing next up on the lineup will be Jet Set and Crazy Taxi. All right, so over here we have like where the revenue is coming from. Interesting enough. So you've got, you know, in 2035, Sonic is the dark blue here with 32, and Atlus at 33. I assume this is like yen or million or something. But either way, Atlus doing fantastic with Sonic right under, which is kind of crazy to see Atlus doing so well above Sonic. But to be fair, they have like multiple studios and multiple IPs. Then you have Yakuza, you have Total War, football, and of course Rovio. Yeah, and in terms of their free-to-play stuff, Sonic Rumble is still set to launch 2025, which is insane because you look at Persona 5X, which basically, for those of you that don't know, it's a gacha game that's been, I don't know where it's been available. I think it's either China or Korea. I'm not sure. Either one of those regions. The game is out there, but it's not out here. But they are planning the service launch summer. So summer for this one. Sonic Rumble still 2025, so who knows when Rumble's coming out. And yeah, I mean, their lineup this fall is not too crazy. So Sonic Racing Crossroads Shinobi. Yeah, I don't see Sega doing as well as they did last year. I mean, last year was insane for them, right? They had Metaphor, they had Sonic Shadow Gens, they had Yakuza, they had like a billion games on their like their AAA level that felt like it was coming out non-stop. So this year it feels like a little bit more chill. I know it's these two. They had Pirate Yakuza, but yeah, these are the next games coming out this year. But again, quality focus over quantity, which is good. Another major point about Sonic I want to talk about was this image that was in one of their financials, which this image is crazy. So you look at this over here. Let's read the statement about it. So through strategic transmedia development centered on games and movies, the Sonic IP licensing revenue has grown dramatically. In addition, along with the growth of the IP, we have also built a good relationship with the business partners in various areas by leveraging the business base we have developed through the Sonic IP. We will continue to strategically promote transmedia development and other IPs with the goal of further expanding in our IP portfolio. We will further promoting the Sonic transmedia strategy in the release of Sonic Shadow Gens on October 25th and the movie Sonic 3. So this graph is fucking awesome, bro. Because you look at this, right? Look what happened to Sonic, man. So you have this right here. This is awesome, dude. I love looking at this graph. So you look at how crazy it's been. In 2019, we were in the dumps. In 2020, we were still in the dumps, right? And then boom, you see right when the climb is, right? Fiscal 2021, Sonic's first movie, you see that bump up in sales, right? And then, you know, it leads up to 2022, and then boom, right here for the fiscal of 2023, which, by the way, for those that don't know what fiscal 2023 means, it's basically 2022 to March 2023. So that's why they include these. So you see it right here, man. This is a massive jump when they launched Movie 2, Frontiers, and Prime all in the same year, leading up all the way to now. So we are seeing a major glow up and thriving in the Sonic IP, which we love to see, man. This is the type of shit I'm on. You wouldn't understand. You know what I mean? Like, this is the success we've been waiting for our boy, you know, over here, for our boy Sonic. As we've, you know, time has gone on, and it's good to see it succeed. So much more than 10 times growth in the last 5 years, 6 years, which is unbelievable stuff. You know, whether it's revenue and everything, it's like their plan is working, right? Sega's whole flow and idea and plan has been to make like Sonic a transmedia icon. So that's why you see stuff like the symphonies, the movies, the games, the mobile stuff, the shows like Sonic Prime, which they list Sonic Prime here as one of their like factors. You know, Sonic Prime, as much as, you know, we could joke around about it, did super well on Netflix numbers. You know what I mean? So they're going to continue to invest in animation and movies and games and everything. And it's just really cool to see that our boy is just growing. I mean, the franchise deserves it, but as long as they keep up the quality, the content, and everything, like, Sonic is gonna thrive, man. I'm really happy about this. And that's really it. You know, I mean, we always talk about here about what's next for Sonic, what's going on with the IP, the franchise, and Sega and everything, but I'm just happy to see that our boy is growing. You know what I mean? Just seeing the franchise thrive and no longer feels like it's the underdog, the small thing. Like, Sega is treating it like, you know, the director recently had that interview talk about how, like, look, Sonic is our mascot, and we want to treat it as such. It should be treated as such. A Sonic game launch should be an event. A movie launch should be an event, you know, and there should always be something to consume Sonic related, which is why even like here, you know, at my you know, content thing, that's why we've grown so much. I mean, there's always something to talk about, whether it's the mobile game, whether it's the shows, whether it's the movies, animation, everything. Like, it always feels like there's something that, you know, we're building up to, that we're heading to a release for, and something to talk about, whether for better or worse. That's what they want. They want the IP to be valuable at all times, discussable at all times, and it's just an exciting time to be a fan of this franchise, and even just being a fan of Sega. I mean, it feels like they're taking care of their shit. They're valuing having multiple new IPs, having IP revivals, and they're all doing well, and it feels like we're in Sega's incredible golden era. And so I can't wait to see how they perform on Switch 2, how they perform with better hardware, you know, what they do with the next mainline Sonic game. That thing's gonna blow us away, hopefully. And yeah, even the movies and everything. I can't wait to see where it goes, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what gets you most excited about this. What do you want to see the most for the future of the series? I know 2D games still need that big glow up. I know we need that next big 3D Sonic game. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Y'all are the best. And of course, I will see you all next time. Peace out.